Welcome to Innovative Health Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Willisnovich, and to my far right is my beautiful co-host, partner in crime, Lisa
That's right.
Metropolis.
Always, always wonderful to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here today.
Me too.
Love you.
Me too.
And, it's an exciting time for us because we have a handsome, very strong man in the hot seat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what a story and journey this man has to tell. So I'm going to introduce him appropriately as survivor and thriver, Dwayne Rowe. Hello, sir.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you for being
Glad to
here
be here.
today. One of our partners, our clients, Orthotech and Mike Bug, who's a dear friend of ours, we did a video, our producer Zach did a video on Orthotech, and it was very impromptu. We were there to hang out, and then we actually got some beautiful footage, and that thing, Lisa, went viral.
It went viral. I mean, thousands and thousands of views, and a lot of that was because of you.
This fellow right
that's
here.
right.
This fellow right here. So, Dwayne Rowe, let's talk a little bit about your background and who you are.
Well,
You were a truck driver. Were you a truck driver?
I was a truck driver. I was in an accident in 2016.
So just roughly 2 years,
Very-
maybe a little over
pretty
2,
recent,
coming
yeah.
up to 3 years.
Yep. Of course, that all happened in Kalamazoo, and I was in hospital for about 2 months.
But how did you get into the accident?
Well, I was in a construction zone, and there was a car in front of me that that swerved out of the way, and I came up to stop traffic.
So someone was turning left, and the car behind it swerved, and you came upon the car.
Yeah.
And you pushed the brakes.
Pushed the brake, pushed my foot right through the floorboard.
Right through, and you're a strong man. I mean, you're
Yeah.
a bodybuilder, right? You were a bodybuilder
Yes, I was.
prior to the accident, so you have some strength behind it. So hard, Lisa.
I think it's adrenaline just as much
Yes,
as
Yes.
anything. Yeah.
survival and adrenaline. You push that brake right through that floorboard. Okay, so you obviously have impact with the car. What happened to you?
Well, I lost my leg, tore my tricep, tore my bicep, broke my pelvis, broken ribs, concussion, and ended up in hospital for about 2 months.
2 months, and they took your leg right then and there, didn't they?
They did. They did. Originally, it was below the knee.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow, and they had to save your life. So my question to you, and I know Lisa, you probably have a lot of questions
Yes,
too.
yes, absolutely.
When something so traumatic like that happens, does your body go into shock? Do you have recall of the accident?
I do. I have recall of the accident. I never really went unconscious.
Okay.
I kind of remember everything up until that point. I can still remember smelling antifreeze and still remember the fireman in the cab talking to me and trying to calm me down. And so there's a lot that I remembered, and then of course the concussion too kind of made me forget a little bit, and I started to remember more after.
Okay.
Like a week or two later, I started remembering a little bit more.
Well, they say your body, when it goes into shock like that, it will, regardless of consciousness, you will somewhat black out because it's your body
pain.
protecting
Yeah.
itself. That's a survival technique.
Yeah.
And so you smell antifreeze, you probably smell the fumes. And when they say calm you down, I mean, were you hyped up, or I would say you were probably just trying to process what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was just trying to figure out what all was really going on.
Where were you?
Yeah,
What's going
yeah.
on? What happened?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What happened to the car in front of you?
Nothing. He swerved out of the way and got out of the way, and then
Okay.
I rear-ended another tractor trailer.
Okay, so
So
what?
the car in front of me swerved,
Okay.
and I came up to stop traffic.
Oh,
So it was
got
kind
it.
of like, then all of a sudden there I was.
So when you hit the tractor trailer, that was probably a buffer between
Yes.
the truck that was pulling it, so no one got injured besides you.
No,
Besides you.
besides me. That's
Okay.
right. Yep.
Okay.
Now, when you went into the hospital, they performed emergency surgery
Yes.
right away on you.
Yes.
They removed the bottom half of your leg, of your right leg.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep. Because you were pushing on that brake that went through, and what was your thought when you came out of that? What was your first?
Well,
thought
I had
when you
10
came out of
surgeries 12 days,
Wow.
Okay.
which is a lot.
That's a lot.
Really, with everything else that was going on, I didn't feel anything at all.
Right.
Because the leg took over everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've broken ribs before, and that's, of course, really, really painful. I didn't even feel that.
Wow.
It's almost like those, also those other traumatic injuries were pretty secondary.
Yeah.
Considering
Yeah,
probably processing the whole accident as a whole.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what happened originally was when I was below the knee, and my knee was in such bad shape, it was destroyed, and there wasn't getting much blood flow, and then a prosthetic wouldn't be able to handle the knee.
Got it. So
Because
they
it'd be
had to
too
take
much
that.
pressure. Eventually, it would have been an issue anyway, so they just did it right then and kind of been done with it.
Okay. So 2 months in the hospital.
Right.
10 surgeries in 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
You are very buff. You work out. What happens?
I was 195 pounds, shriveled up in a hospital bed.
Wow.
I never thought I could.
Do anything.
Yeah,
Because did you go into the depths of despair? Be honest.
I did.
Yeah.
I went to, depression and all that stuff, and just kept staying positive. I surrounded myself with good people. I got a lot of letters and people coming to see me and help me stay positive.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Well, you did say, we talked about the video that we did. I mean, it went viral because of you have a massive support system, which speaks
Yes.
volumes to you as a person.
So you were able to use that social media for support, of course, along with your beautiful wife,
Yeah.
Your family. They were an incredible support. How did they? As caretakers during that time in the hospital, we talk about this so much. As caretakers, what was one of the most important things for you during using the social media and your family?
I was never really on a lot of social media. I mean, I never really wanted to. I wasn't ready for all that at that
Sure,
time.
probably
I had a lot
overwhelming.
going on. And,
Yes.
I just was at that point was just trying to get on my feet and kind of go from there.
Got you. Okay, so during the hospital stay, it's OT, PT,
Right.
probably treating a lot of the mental side, the coping side, the adversity side, and that OT, PT it's painful. Did you start to feel kind of now the residual pain after the fact when things started to kind of set in the reality of what had happened?
The reality of it all is the accident was bad, and I was good about accepting it right away.
Okay.
That was the one thing that I was really good about.
Yes.
But a lot of my problems weren't really the accident. It was probably the 13 months after dealing with all the medication.
Okay.
Getting off all that.
Right.
Okay.
That was
From a pain standpoint, were they a lot of pain meds then in
a lot of
general?
pain medication, yes.
And we talk a lot of times on Innovative Health with the magazine and on the podcast and on the digital side, the opioid epidemic.
Correct.
So did you feel yourself become addicted to?
Yes.
Okay. And you knew it was the start of something that could really lead into long-term dependency
Right.
and ultimately death.
I was going the wrong way and in one way.
Yep.
And we talk about a lot of the types they were giving you. You had in our previous conversations. So you were on one of the narcotics that they gave you is fentanyl, correct?
Fentanyl.
Yep. 100
And
milligrams.
100 milligrams of fentanyl. And you're like we said, you're a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Your body can probably handle some
Some
dosages.
meds, yes.
Right. But that was still affecting you.
But I had a pretty high tolerance built up in the hospital too.
Right. Okay.
Because when you get behind on pain medication, it's hard to catch up. Mm-hmm. And
It's really getting it's managing that,
right,
but
yeah,
it takes a lot of buildup to manage
Yeah,
it,
yes.
and then you have to sustain it, and then you get to a point in your life where, my gosh, I've got to take 17 pills a day to walk in a straight line.
Yes.
I mean, you had the wherewithal. But one thing too, Lisa, I want to point out why it was so important for us to have Dwayne is because today there's going to be an accident. Tomorrow there's going to be an accident. There's going to be someone in Dwayne's situation. And I think he, very unfortunate, but very real. And I think you are such an amazing testimony
Right.
as I mean, it breaks our heart what you went through, but you are such a leader and mentor. And like we discussed, the fact that your support system, because you now are on social media, you have like this really beautiful cult following.
Beautiful people.
Beautiful. And it's so funny to see the comments too, because some are very, traditional. God bless you, Dwayne.
Right.
And some, they're busting your chops. They bust your chops. They bust your chops. And it's funny because you have that give and take relationship with all of them. So my question now too is with the leg. So you get a state-of-the-art leg, correct?
I did.
Right away. Did you get it right away, or did they have to size you and order it, or what does that process all involve?
Well, I think a lot of it's going through the insurance.
Right.
Okay.
Getting approved and going through
What you qualify for
jumping through
and
the hoops
what they
and getting
give you.
there and, yep.
Yes.
And me being young and being active, so I was able to get a good leg.
State of the art.
State of the art, no question.
Did you feel phantom pains?
I
They
do.
say a lot of times you feel
Yeah.
phantom pain. So you feel
Yeah,
pain
still
in
do.
the part that they resected.
Right.
What does that feel like? It's bizarre. Just curious.
Man, a lot of like a stabbing and tingling
And it's not there.
yeah.
What do they attest that to, just out of curiosity?
I'm not sure.
I'd like to we'll do some more research
I
on
want
it.
to think maybe the nerves are still bundled up in there. That's
Okay.
kind of what I gathered from it all, but
Because it does come from the central nervous
Yeah.
system, so there is still some of that
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
But I did a lot in therapy. I did a lot of, they put a mirror between my legs. And then so I would look at the mirror at my other leg to make it look like I had two. And I would do exercises with this leg to make me mentally think that I had two legs.
Both legs. Wow.
Right.
That's
So
brilliant.
that seemed to help a little bit, but, I still have it.
Okay.
But talking with people, they have it a lot worse. So I think it all depends on the person.
Okay. Got it. So you get the state-of-the-art leg, and it wasn't hearts and flowers in the beginning, right? You had some pain up in the groin. Tell us a little bit like what you kind of experienced when you first got the leg, because U of M, amazing institution. You probably received the best of the best
Right.
care, but in talking to you and knowing you and from the video itself too, it's kind of like from the orthopedic side, which is contracted in, they give you the leg, they size it, and they kind of go, all right, good luck with everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's pretty much what happened. And then I had a lot of problems after all this too. I had 4-5 surgeries after also. The sutures that didn't heal and infections
wow.
and stuff like that. So I would get up on the leg for a few months and then I'd have another surgery. And then, so a lot of it was, just kind of going through the process of getting there. I kind of had to go through a little bit to get these.
Well, and you had some, like you said, just some aesthetic complications,
Right.
which some infections or just
But, you're talking
fixing what
another
they
surgery,
did.
you're talking, 3-4 months off the leg again.
Yeah.
Every surgery.
Yeah.
Every surgery was another 3-4
Yeah.
months off the leg.
So let's talk about it. How long did you not walk? You were on crutches for how long?
I was on crutches for probably, out of the, 4 years, just say, that I've lost a leg, probably 3.
3
Wow.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. This
Were you able to do any exercise?
working out. You still were working out and try to live.
I was trying. I mean, I
Okay.
did what
Yeah.
I could do. I knew I needed to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was just like, the crutches were, and then you're on the crutches, and then you got to watch out for stuff on the floor, and and your fall, and it's just kind of
3 years is a very long
Yeah.
time to be on crutches.
yeah. And
What was your mindset?
Well, my mindset was kind of like, you almost kind of think, well, maybe this is just the way it's supposed to be, and it's not that I was.
So you adjust
Wasn't
to
that I wasn't that I was throwing in the towel. It was just that what, maybe you get used to things, and this is the way. Whatever it is going to be, you want it to be. You don't want to keep on.
You
going
settled in.
backwards.
You settled in.
I settled with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't you think, honestly, like sometimes that serves you well because it kind of keeps your nervous system calm.
Right.
You're not panicking. You adjust sails and you become okay with your situation. But in the same breath, is there probably a big piece of you thinking, this has to get better?
Yeah, and that's where it might come into it all.
Okay, this is exciting.
This is.
So this is our dear.
This is when it gets good.
You are when it gets good.
Yeah.
But this is really where the trajectory changes. So Michael Bugg, who is owner, founder, and operator of Orthotech, they have multiple locations and they specialize in orthopedics. Mm-hmm. So how do you find out about Michael Bugg?
My mom had found him.
During just like research,
yep,
correct?
Yep, I was having some issues with where I was going and felt that, I was, like you said, there was something out there for me.
And your mom knew it?
Yep.
Mamas know.
Maybe I was cutting myself short.
Yep.
So we had found Mike and went in there, and it's been great ever since.
He has several locations. What location did you?
I go to the one in Flint.
Okay, so you went to the one in Flint. I first met you with Michael at the West Branch location. Mm-hmm. And the reason he had us go up there is because it's like the home. That's kind of where think of like Steve Jobs when he started Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
In the garage. Think of the garage.
Yeah.
That's home base.
Kind of the garage.
Yes.
And it was funny to me because, I've been to other locations since then, and they're very state of the art. West Branch is kind of old school, and he kept apologizing to me. I'm sorry about the decor. No, you could feel home in that location. Right. So, and people were there just hanging out. They weren't even there being serviced. Some were there being serviced. They go for fellowship, camaraderie, and really just to hang out. So we're sitting there, and you tell us the story when you first met him. You come in, you consult with him, and you basically did it on a handshake, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
There's no massive insurance paperwork.
That's right.
Sign these 37,000 sheets, and we're going to charge you. It was based on a good old-fashioned handshake.
Yep. And that's exactly what happened. And when I went in there, he said, if it doesn't work out in a couple months, give me a couple months try. If it doesn't work out, we'll shake hands and you can go your own way. But give me a chance. And that's all I needed to hear, really.
It speaks volumes, especially in this day and age of medicine, where a lot of our care is dictated by the insurance companies. There's a lot of massive paperwork. There's a lot of overhead. So there's some really massive beauty in that handshake and that relationship with you and Michael Bugg, who the minute he met you started working on your...
Yeah, he didn't even...
Like pretty much right then.
Right there on the spot.
Right there, he was already trying to make things better for me. And just to get touch on the paperwork part, but he never even billed my insurance company. Money was never even in the conversation.
Wow.
So
pretty incredible.
Volumes.
It speaks
volumes because he wanted to help you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like we discussed, what Michael does, and it's a tremendous gift. He changes lives.
Yes.
And what he does, Lisa, is he takes the state-of-the-art leg, and we're talking state-of-the-art. Like, is it titanium? It is the top materials. The
used,
top state-of-the-art prosthetic man can get. But what he does is he takes old school and new school, and he hybrids them.
Exactly.
And it's brilliant the knowledge he has because his father started this company and he was raised within this company. And he's brilliant. Like he's an artiste.
He is.
But he's brilliant. And so what he did was he took your prosthetic and he took the top part, right? The socket part, and he adjusted it based exactly on what your needs were. How long, because it wasn't right away, it wasn't perfect, right? Not right away. How long before you were walking on your prosthetic?
I'd probably say maybe 5-6 weeks.
5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
Compared to months and months and months.
Mr. Rowe,
yes.
How long have you been walking?
Since probably June.
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
A year and a half. Yeah.
How long did you not walk?
Almost 3.
Wow. Does that make you cry?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's such an incredible testament. And how do you, so when you started walking and it was comfortable, let's talk about the comfort aspect of it, because it was uncomfortable for you for quite a while. The comfort level physically and mentally was overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, the thing is when dealing with the prosthetic and stuff and being on it for a lengthy period of time, my leg has changed shapes. The volumes went down and things have changed. Well, I was never on the leg long enough for all that to process.
Right.
So now I'm on it long enough to know where things are moving, and now I'll be ready for a new one. And that's what's going to happen. We got to shift through the gears to get there.
Right.
And your thigh, the socket, probably adjusted as well. And then after time and time and time again, it became accustomed.
Right.
So that from a pain management standpoint, your body shifted and adjusted without giving you that alert system within your body.
Sure.
It's pretty cool.
That is.
It's pretty amazing. So now, I know, I want to hug them and I want to cry because now you walk and you're back to, well, you don't work out
at all. I mean, you're back to doing everything. Everything you love. Yeah.
You look amazing, Dwayne Rowe.
Thanks.
And it's no wonder because you're this giant, but you've got this big heart of gold and you've got this beautiful aura about you. And you also mentor and lead because now you show people I can get through it.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing with me was I've always wanted to help people before my accident, but I never knew really how to go about it. And now I can go about it without having to really do a whole lot.
You have a mission and a purpose.
There's a purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have to tell you too, Lisa, about Mr. Bug, just to kind of toot his horn. He's a perfectionist, and to a fault. But in his line of work and what he does, he has to be.
I got. Excuse me. I got to tell Mike. I'm like, Mike, it's good. It's not getting any better, dude. It's good.
And he says it's not good enough.
It's not
and
good
he's
enough.
always about better.
Tinkering.
And you go in there, Lisa. We're all us three, and Dwayne will join us. We'll take a trip up to West Branch, and we'll just hang out and have dinner, and you'll just kind of see. And one thing that really captured our heartstrings, there was a young woman in there. She's 13 years old. I think she's almost like 5'9", 5'10". She does not look 13. She looks 23.
Yeah.
But she's so sweet and beautiful. And she was born without a foot. And Mike was instrumental. And she was in a wheelchair almost her whole life. And at school, she was highly bullied. So Mike was instrumental in bringing in education on how she was born. They had a huge assembly and shifted the trajectory so that kids understood where she was coming from. Yes. Not only that, she became a spokesperson. She was on a big billboard because she's absolutely stunning, modeling for, I believe it was a clothing line or something. So he has done her legs. She can play volleyball, she can play basketball, she can run, she can swim, she can do everything.
Can do it all.
And if you ask her, can you do it all? She said, I can do it all. She said, I can do it all better than anybody else can.
That's right.
And he is constantly, like with Dwayne, because she gets into these massive growth spurts, is changing and evolving her prosthetic. But her eyes light up when she talks about this man. And the same for you. Mm-hmm. You go into Orthotech, and these people come, they're not even there for service. They're there to be in that energy.
That's right. He did all of that. He changed, like you said, the trajectory in her school. That's he had these pretty much workshops, these conversations with the entire school, with the faculty, with everyone there, and he's just done so much for so many more people.
And I have to say too, when she would talk about being bullied, she would cry because she started to relive it. And it's just so important for us to teach these kids the diversity and how much it affects these children. We're losing children every single day because of bullying.
Absolutely.
So it's so important. He goes in and he saves lives. Okay. Michael Bug, we love you if you haven't noticed. Orthotech, get in there, talk to Michael Bug. Back to you real quick, Dwayne Rowe. We only have a few minutes left in the podcast. You are still recovering. You still are in recovery mode. That's going to take a lot of time. And I'm sure there's still some mental healing and some post-traumatic items you're still dealing with. And you're still adjusting to walking. I mean, it is a journey and a path. But what is your advice to people who are going through it?
I think the biggest thing with me was getting comfortable with, like when the accident first happened, I thought, and I had my prosthetic, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to wear pants. I'm going to wear shorts and let people see this is who I am.
Right.
This is what it is. And the quicker that I accepted that, the better off I was.
Okay.
And that's my biggest advice.
It's owning it, right? Acceptance.
It's not a leg, this is my leg.
I love that. Yeah.
And isn't there a process like with any loss? It's anger, depression.
It's a 12-step process with that.
Acceptance, healing. I don't know, I don't know what order it goes in, but you went through all of it. And I think, I'm just making a guess, but it's kind of like when you settled, yes,
accepting it,
and accepted it, regardless where you were in the journey. Like, I will tell you, for me, I probably would have been in panic mode, ready to get out of that hospital, ready to start walking. But you took the time to heal, which a lot of people don't.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to rush through it.
It taught me a lot of patience. I have a ton of it now. Not a ton of it, but it's better than it was.
I would say a ton.
Yeah.
I would say a ton.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of good things that came of it too. A ton of them.
I love you, Dwayne Rowe. And with your accident came the patience, healing, hope, health, mentoring, love, light, leading, patience, and then with it came what they say is serendipity, right? When you sit and good things come, it's very serendipitous. And I think you were, again, as tragic as it was, what a blessing to have you sitting in between us today. It's an honor and privilege.
I appreciate it.
Will you come back? Because guess who will be back with you? Michael Bug.
All right.
Michael Bug.
Looking forward to it.
We cannot wait. And he'll go through the podcast and he'll say his interview wasn't good enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Won't take credit for nothing.
We got his headshots. He's handsome as all get out. Not good enough. We love that man. Yeah. And look for Dwayne Rowe, right? Because we'll be doing some video series on you, and look for that Orthotech video that still is going viral. It's insane, the numbers of eyeballs that have watched that. So here's to changing lives. So a big thank you. Big thank you to my beautiful, amazing, talented co-host.
Always.
Emphasis on beautiful, Dwayne.
Yep.
And our handsome, strong, resilient guest, Dwayne Rowe. Thank you so much. Big thank you to our viewers and listeners. This has been Innovative Health Podcast.